Honorable member, order. I wish to give a report on the suspected fire that was detected in the Good Hope building. I'm informed that the capacitor in a light overheated, affecting the light cover, which consequently caused the smoke in office number 31. As a result, the smoke detector was triggered, further triggering the fire alarm system. I'm informed that there was no further damage as a result of this. So the situation has been resolved, and we sincerely apologize to all of you, honorable members, for the inconvenience. Thank you. Order, honorable members. Honorable Paulson. Wait, hold on, Honorable Paulson. The first item here, we haven't even started, man. The first item on today's order paper is questions addressed to the Deputy President. There are 4 supplementary questions on each question. Parties have given an indication of which questions their members wish to pose a supplementary question. Adequate notice was given to parties for this purpose. This was done to facilitate participation of members who are connecting to the sitting through the virtual platform. The members who will pose supplementary questions will be recognized by the presiding officer. In allocating opportunities for supplementary questions, the principle of fairness, amongst others, has been applied. If a member who is supposed to ask a supplementary question through the virtual platform is unable to do so due to technological difficulties, the party whip on duty will be allowed to ask the question on behalf of their member. When all the supplementary questions have been answered by the Deputy President, we will proceed to the next question on the question paper. Members asking supplementary questions or raising points of order may remain seated when doing so. The first question has been asked by the Honorable S. Luzipo to the Deputy President. The Honorable Deputy President. Shall we say congratulations, Deputy President? This is your first question and answer session.
Maiden speaks. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Somebody sent me a message on my phone from Joburg and said, we hear that Paul is on fire in Cape Town. Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. Government has on numerous occasions acknowledged the negative effects of load shedding to all citizens and the economy. This acknowledgement has found expression in the President's decisions to appoint a minister for electricity in his office, specifically to respond to this function. The minister is tasked to work with the board in implementing the National Energy Plan. In addition to this intervention, is the declaration of national state of disaster to ensure that there are measured interventions. Another special focus of the new ministry is to work with the National Treasury and respective municipalities to facilitate payment of outstanding monies owed to ESCOM. As outlined in the budget speech in February this year, the National Treasury is working with ESCOM to provide a sustainable solution to the crisis of municipal debt. Government has previously adopted a plan to unbundle ESCOM into 3 functional units to increase accountability and competencies of the various functions. The Minister of Energy is on record on the decision to create another energy entity to augment the current energy supply. During the 2023 State of the Nation address, President Cyril Ramaphosa flagged the problems and outlined interventions to unlock our national potential. This includes reducing load shedding to facilitate economic growth, job creation, and fighting poverty and inequality. The means towards ending load shedding include the following: fix Eskom's coal-fired power stations and improve energy availability factor. Second, enable and accelerate private investment in generation capacity. Third, declare the state of national disaster and establish a ministry in the presidency focused on accelerating the implementation of the already agreed upon plans towards reducing and ultimately ending load shedding in the shortest possible period. Fourth, provide budget to boost the rollout of rooftop solar by businesses and also households. And fifth, allocate budget to reduce Eskom's debt burden. Madam Speaker, as of the end of December 2022, municipalities owed Eskom 56.3 billion rands, and the debt is rising. It is clear that we need a debt relief strategy that will acknowledge the inherent risk of unviable municipalities. In this regard, Eskom will provide incentivized relief to municipalities whose debt is unaffordable. However, the relief will come with conditions that will ensure that there is no repeat of debt buildup over time. Some of the conditions will include the installation of prepaid meters to correct the underlying behavior of non-payment and operational practices in the affected municipalities. Municipalities must use the money they are allocated effectively and efficiently for the intended purposes. If this is not the case, there should be consequences. In addition, the National Treasury is preparing a Municipal Finance Management Act circular dealing with a relief strategy regarding municipal debt owed to Eskom, which is expected to be released later this month, with the implementation expected to start on the 1st of April this year. Under the National Treasury, the Multidisciplinary Revenue Committee is continuing with its main task of ensuring that all municipal debts are coordinated, tracked, and resolved on an ongoing basis. In this regard, Honorable Speaker, accounting officers are required to settle all contractual obligations and pay all monies owed, including intergovernmental claims, within 30 days of the submission of invoice or on specific period agreed with creditors or suppliers. Honorable members, the culture of non-payment, not only by municipalities, by all organs of state and individual household customers, is concerning. We cannot overemphasize the need to discourage a culture of non-payment for public services. In addressing the utilities' financial challenges, government has announced further measures on Eskom. A debt relief of 243 billion rands will be implemented over the next 3 years. Government's intervention of explicitly taking on this debt is aimed at reducing fiscal risks and enhancing long-term fiscal sustainability. This debt relief consists of two components. First, ESCOM debt service requirement of 184 billion rands. This represents ESCOM's full debt settlement requirements in 3 tranches over the medium term. Second, is a direct takeover of up to 70 billion rands of ESCOM's loan portfolio in 2025-26. This will allow ESCOM to focus on its operating cash flow, on much needed maintenance and capital expenditure, while at the same time reducing ESCOM's debt of 168 billion rands. Further to this work, the government is continuing with the medium to long-term plans of adding additional capacity to the grid. We are committed to clean energy solutions, including investing in renewable energy solutions. Amongst others, this includes the implementation of the Integrated Energy Plan and the amendments to electricity legislation to make it easier for private developers to generate additional capacity. This includes speeding up implementation of over 100 projects expected to provide over 9,000 megawatts of new capacity. Honorable Speaker, it is our hope as government that all these measures will facilitate and chart the way towards energy security, resulting in an inclusive economic growth and job creation. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy President. The first supplementary question will be asked by the Honorable S. Luzip.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Deputy President, even though they are paying their electricity bills to the relevant municipality.
Aibo, sorry, Honorable Mashiko.
Yala,
Please
Yala.
mute your system, please.
I did. Which one is that?
Please mute Baba, please. You may proceed, Honorable.
Honorable Deputy President, even though they are paying their electricity bills to the relevant municipalities, small-scale mining businesses, including smelters and others in the industry, are heavily affected by both electricity cuts and load shedding. Would the government take into consideration such situations with regards to its intervention in capacitating municipalities to ensure a long-term solution to the electricity crisis for our industrial development objective? Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, and congratulations, Deputy President. I know you will rise to the occasion. Thank you very much.
Zipo. Honorable Deputy President.
Thank you, Honorable Zipo. One of the reasons why government is encouraging municipalities to ensure own generation is also to be able to supply those other sectors. So changes have been made to the regulations on new generation capacity, and that will allow municipalities to independently procure power, and that will then result in them being able to supply the small businesses in their areas, smelters, etc. So government will also strengthen the capacity of municipalities to be able to function properly, to be able to generate this additional revenue. So that's what we are encouraging, and we do hope that If municipalities do that, they will be able to assist those sectors. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Deputy President. The second supplementary question will be asked by the Honorable S.N. Swart.
Thank you, Speaker. And maybe as the ACDP also firstly congratulate the Deputy President on his appointment. And arising from his response, we appreciate the efforts to reduce the municipal debt. And of course, the Deputy President alluded to other interventions to reduce load shedding, which we all agree has had a devastating impact on households, businesses, and on the economy as a whole. And today we heard one estimate of our economic growth to be 0.1%, which is far too low. Now, arising from your response, Honorable Deputy President, what technical interventions were used to reduce load shedding to zero during this week, given that during the December holidays, when demand was very low, there were still varying levels of load shedding? The ACDP is concerned that possibly an instruction might have been given to keep the lights on at all costs in response to the calls for a shutdown, which, if this is true, would place the whole grid and risk of a total blackout. Would the Deputy President please comment on that? Thank you.
Honorable Swart, the Honorable Deputy President.
Thank you, Honorable Swart, for acknowledging that the government is on the right track with interventions. Our interventions, Honorable Swart, is to ensure that we can reduce the challenges of load shedding. So we will do everything as government to ensure that there are no technical interventions that will result in us having the problem of load shedding increasing. Because whatever we do now is to give ESCOM the ability to be able to increase electricity and ensure that we don't compromise the grid. So I can assure you that everything is being done by government and ESCOM together to ensure that we keep the lights on.
I thank you, the Deputy President. The third supplementary question will be asked by the Honorable NLS Kwangwa.
DP, I see there's a memo in the ANC that deputy presidents wear purple ties. You look like the cat, by the way, now in that purple tie. Congratulations.
Sorry, I couldn't hear that.
No, don't worry. Excuse me. DP, the issue here for us is that there tends to be too much focus on the business sector, or rather the effect of load shedding on the business sector, which is important, I accept. But in view of the fact that only 77 hospitals were exempt from load shedding out of 400 public healthcare facilities countrywide, which has resulted to many patients losing their lives as there was not enough staff members available to resuscitate, or patients would depend on life-saving equipment. Healthcare workers, as you know, are forced to make a terrible choice over who lives and who dies. And they are forced to endure such traumatic and strenuous conditions due to the failure of government to resolve load shedding. Is the government considering to compensate families who are affected by death as a result of load shedding? DP.
I thank you, Honorable Kwangwa. The Honorable Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Kwakwa, for the question. The approach of government is to ensure that places like hospitals obviously are able to continue to do their work so that they can save lives. However, supplying electricity is a very technical, complex problem that sometimes it's very difficult for ESCOM to exempt hospital in particular areas because you are supplied by, the same power station. And as a result, when this was raised, the CEO of ESCOM did allude to this challenge that sometimes they find it difficult to exempt hospital because of that linkage. So when they switch off, they have to switch off the entire supply area. But we obviously are concerned, like yourselves, that we shouldn't lose lives. That's why our approach as government is really to deal with the bigger problem so that we can eliminate the problem of load shedding so that we don't have this problem that you are raising. Obviously, government has to be careful about issues of compensation. You know, load shedding is affecting many other people. So once we commit to compensating a particular sector, there will be nowhere to stop. Everybody's going to demand. I'm sure even you, Honorable Kwankwa, you might come and say something broke in your house because of load shedding, so you need to be compensated. So I'm just saying we just need to be careful not to open a can of worms. There are many people affected, and in fact, government may not afford to be able to compensate everybody who's affected one way or the other by load shedding. So I wouldn't like to commit government to that.
I thank you, Deputy President. The last supplementary question will be asked by the Honorable A.M. Sheikh Imam.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Deputy President, the problem with ESCOM is corruption, lack of skills, sabotage, theft of diesel, coal, and cable, lack of maintenance, and increase in demand, and these evergreen contracts that still exist 30, 40 years. That is the first problem. And the second problem, because I see the question is twofold, is the ability of municipalities to pay ESCOM. Municipalities currently have created an environment for corruption and looting. In order to solve the ESCOM problem, would you consider a holistic approach to deal with all these challenges with ESCOM? Because you can't leave one or two of them off and expect to solve the problem. And more importantly, on the issue of local government, municipalities, they will never have the capacity to pay. Will you consider ensuring there's a transparent and credible process of procurement so that the looting and stealing stops so they'll have enough money to pay ESCOM and others? Thank you.
I thank you, Honorable Member. The Honorable Deputy President.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Sheikh. Indeed, Honorable Sheikh, the issues that you are raising are the issues that we are currently addressing, working with ESCOM. Government will continue to ensure that we don't compromise on dealing with corruption. It doesn't matter whether it's ESCOM or any other entity. We have put the issue of dealing with corruption on top of the government agenda. So you can be assured about that. The issue of maintenance is very important because even though there is a pressure throughout the world that we must move to cleaner energy, etc., we want to ensure that the power stations that we have currently continue to be maintained properly to generate electricity. So we shouldn't compromise on maintenance, and we have said so very loudly to ESCOM. Skills, yes, indeed. As you know, that the DPSA has come up with a new policy to ensure that there are adequate and requisite skills in government. So we are not going to, as government, allow agencies or government departments to deploy people without the relevant skills. So that's a priority for us. Municipalities to pay ESCOM, it's a priority. as I said earlier, that 56 billion rand is owed to Eskom. So we are talking to the Minister of Copter. We're going to be working with her to ensure that we are able to ensure that this does not continue. As I did say earlier that in some of the areas, we have already started encouraging the intervention of prepaid meters so that municipalities don't continue to be put in a situation that where they owe Eskom. Because remember, what happens is that municipalities don't pay Eskom because they don't get paid by those who are supplied with electricity. So if they put prepaid meters, they'll be able to collect revenue and be able to pay Eskom. So, Honorable Sheikh, we are attending to all those matters. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy President. Question number 2 has been asked by the Honorable S. Kwahube to the Deputy President. The Honorable Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, Section 92.2 of the Constitution stipulates that members of Cabinet are accountable collectively and individually to Parliament for the exercise of their powers and the performance of their functions. Therefore, members of the executive have a constitutional obligation to avail themselves to respond to questions for oral reply, appear before relevant portfolio committees, and attend plenaries as scheduled by the programming committees of Parliament. In August 2021, the Speaker of the National Assembly proposed new mechanisms to monitor outstanding responses to Parliament, responses to parliamentary questions by members of the executives. In terms of the new mechanisms, the Speaker writes to the leader of government business on a quarterly basis, informing him or her of outstanding replies by individual members of the executive. To this end, the leader of government business in Parliament has further introduced monitoring mechanisms where members of the executive with more than 10 outstanding responses to questions for written reply are requested to inform the leader of government business in Parliament in writing about the reasons for not answering questions, and secondly, remedial actions to be taken. This information is then presented fortnightly to Cabinet, where the members are present. So we present it there. I'll tell you more later what we also do. Since the implementation of these mechanisms, there has been notable progress with regard to unanswered questions. In fact, the Honorable Speaker, in 2019, there were 405 questions that lapsed. But by the end of 2022, only 83 unanswered questions lapsed. So I'm not saying that's a good thing that we should be judged on, but I'm saying you can see the magnitude. You can see how that has reduced. So we need to do much more to deal with it. We equally appeal to our programming wayfarers also to ensure that scheduling should also avoid coinciding with cabinet meetings and other government engagements. So we'll have to coordinate that between the programming committees and the work of the executive so that members are able to attend. I must say, Honorable Speaker, that the development and finalization of the legislative program, which we propose will deal with how we manage executive bills and the weaknesses that arise. As part of government effort to address the challenge, the president has now delegated the minister in the presidency responsible for planning, monitoring, and evaluation to develop a framework that will investigate strengthening efforts of monitoring, effective implementation of legislative program, and the fulfillment of parliamentary responsibilities by the executive. That's Minister Marupe Ramukhupa. The draft framework and its implementation plan has since been developed, and it is due for consideration by relevant cabinet committees. So, Honorable Speaker, moving forward, our main priority will be, amongst other things, to closely monitor the development and the introduction of priority bills to Parliament with specific focus on legislation with constitutional court deadlines, but also those pronounced by the President during the State of the Nation address. I thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Deputy President. The first supplementary question will be asked by the Honorable S. Kwahobe.
Deputy President, I certainly hope that the adage, "a new broom sweeps clean," is applicable to you too as our new leader of government business. As key parts of your role, Deputy President, is ensuring that ministers attend to their responsibilities in Parliament. And as you stated that the unanswered questions have come down to 83, and I'd like to propose to you that that simply is not good enough. We have seen a complete decay of the institution over the years, and ministers routinely don't attend question sessions in the House or send their deputies who are often ill-suited to respond to questions. Even now, Deputy President, we only have one minister in the House. This absence is often attributed to cabinet responsibilities, despite the fact that Parliament has moved its program on Wednesdays to start at 3 p.m. to accommodate cabinet meetings. More disappointingly, ministers have often given inadequate answers to questions, making a mockery of the oversight function of Parliament. Repeat offenders are slapped on the wrist for unanswered questions with no real consequences. DP, South Africans have sent us here to represent them. We cannot do our work if the executive is hostile to Parliament. What will you be doing to ensure that perpetual offending ministers are dealt with and face harsh consequences for not fulfilling their roles and the not answering questions in time?
Thank you, Honorable Kwahobe. The Deputy President.
Honorable Kwahobe, I've already said that there will be consequences if members of the executive don't respond to questions. Obviously, the Speaker has powers to reprimand members who don't comply. And I think the Speaker did it recently. I know that other members felt that was harsh, but it had to be done. And it's going to continue to be done to ensure that the executive is held accountable to Parliament. So we're not going to compromise on that. We're going to continue to remind the executive that they have to answer questions. And if they don't, there will be consequences. Let me also indicate that already, as part of the work of the leader of government business, the issues are reported to the cabinet every time the cabinet sits. So when the cabinet sits, we report about the work of Parliament, but also about questions. We do indicate to cabinet who has not answered questions and remind colleagues to do so. And that's almost every fortnight. So it's not something we do after 6 months. Every fortnight, there is a program on the agenda of cabinet that deals with this matter to ensure that members of the executive are held accountable to answering questions. We do want ministers to be accountable. And we are going to ensure that that is the case. I was reminding some colleagues that when former President Halima Motlanthe was deputy president, he would report to the cabinet, because of course he was leader of government business. I was Minister of Arts and Culture then. And what President Motlanthe will do, will present the report, but the issue of unanswered questions would not be taken as read. He will read them and say, Minister Mashatile, 2 weeks ago, we had 6 unanswered questions. We say you still have the same. And all the ministers by that time, we all worked hard to ensure that we have 0. Because there was peer pressure. Because he'll go through all of them and say, Minister so you have 16 unanswered questions. So nobody wanted to be in that situation. So every time we went to cabinet, all of us would check first what's happening with questions, because all of us wanted to ensure when President Motlanthe comes, he must say, Minister Mashatile, say now you have 0. And so that's what we're going to do. Every time cabinet sit, I will report and say to my colleagues, we have so many. Report.
Mute, honorable member, please.
Yeah, so I think when you handle this matter that way, ministers take it serious, that they have to answer questions, because it's part of our democratic system of accountability. So, honorable ministers, you know, we will report how many. No, yeah, they'll do their job. They'll do their job. But thank you very much for asking that question. We are dealing with it. It's firmly on the agenda.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy President. The second supplementary question will be asked by the Honorable N. Singh.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Firstly, Honorable Speaker, let me take the opportunity on behalf of the IFP to congratulate you, Honorable Deputy President. And today is a day of welcome, but also a baptism of fire. But I'm not going to ask you a fiery question. Honorable Deputy President, you did mention what the Constitution says about accountability of members of the executive. And I'm sure you will agree with me that members of the executive include the head of the executive in the provinces being the premier and in national government being the president. Soon we will be dealing with budget votes, Honorable Deputy President, from budget vote 1 to budget vote 40 or so. Now, when you were premier in Gauteng, you had an oversight committee that oversaw the work of the premier, budget vote 1.
Yes.
Will you support the creation of a committee to oversee the president's budget vote 1 here in the National Parliament? Because it's part of accountability and oversight, Honorable Deputy President. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Singh. The Honorable Deputy President.
Thank you, Honorable Singh. You are right. When I was Premier of Gauteng, I think we had something like that. I can't remember what we called it at the time, but you know, Parliament is different. We were dealing with a very peculiar environment at the time where we required to engage a number of other stakeholders. But Parliament operate differently from provinces. Remember that provinces get most of their resources from national government. And as a result, our accounting mechanisms are different. So I think for now, the mechanisms to hold the president accountable are adequate. I think opposition parties know president can come here to answer questions. So, you know, he's really at your disposal to hold him accountable. I think let's continue that way.
Thank you. Thank you, Deputy President. The third supplementary question will be asked by the Honorable MS Chabane.
Thank you, Speaker, and congratulations again, Deputy President. And thanks for having responded comprehensively. It must be acknowledged that members of the executive do continue to attend various portfolio committees and standing committees and able to do responses on the issues that are affecting various departments. And they do provide oral reply. Where ministers are unable to attend a session to the House, the communication is provided to the presiding officers, and the deputy ministers take responsibility to respond on behalf of various departments. There has been an improvement in the area of questions for written reply, as we've indicated, Deputy President. Noting the speaker's reprimand. How will the Deputy President, in his capacity as a leader of government business, further improve and strengthen the participation of the executive in the parliamentary work? Thank you, Deputy President.
Thank you, Honorable Member. The Honorable Deputy President.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Chaban. Obviously, this is an area which we should continue to improve. So I agree with you that I said that, you know, the number of unanswered questions has gone down. Ministers are responding, but we do want to perfect it. And as a result, we are looking at a number of innovations. When I was a Deputy Minister of Arts and Culture.
Honorable Nzuza, will you please mute your system?
Honorable Nzuza.
Proceed, Honorable Tipi.
I was saying, Honorable Speaker, that when I was Deputy Minister of Arts and Culture, I used to answer questions delegated by the minister. Is my mic off? Oh, sorry, I thought maybe my mic is off. No, I was saying, when I was Deputy Minister of Arts and Culture, I used to answer questions delegated by the minister. So I think we should use that. Unlike to allow questions to lapse, ministers must delegate deputy ministers to deal with questions.
Honorable members, please don't do that. Please, ma'am. Please. proceed.
Ministers, if I may repeat, ministers must delegate deputy ministers to deal with questions so that we don't create this backlog. So it was done before. We must continue to do it. So I agree, Honorable Chabane, that yes, they are answering, but we must continue to improve. And as I said, the issue of this matter being on the cabinet agenda every 2 weeks is one of the mechanisms that will ensure that we keep our eye on the ball. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
I thank you, Honorable Deputy President. The last supplementary question will be asked by the Honorable OMC Mautwe.
Thanks, Honorable Speaker. I will take this question on behalf of Honorable Mautwe. Deputy President, as head of business, of government business, the mandate to ensure that the executive is accountable and is responsive to the questions that are put by members of parliament. you are inheriting what is ostensibly pedestrian office which lacks agility because of the predecessor who occupied it. I hope you are bringing some excitement in the office by ensuring that ministers, not only ministers, but the president himself is accountable, is responsive, respects this parliament, and answers questions without coming here just to waste time and to evade questions. What is it that can come out of your office to ensure that there are consequence management for ministers, deputy ministers, including president, to ensure that they are responsive to the questions that are put to them by parliament?
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Deputy President.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Yes, I think we all agree that members of the executive have subjected themselves to accountability by this House. No doubt about it. The President has subjected himself to accountability by this House. Now, Honorable Member, okay, so Honorable Member is not Mautwene. Matthias.
Honorable Matthias.
Matthias. Honorable Matthias, I said earlier that the lapsed questions in 2019 were 405, and they then reduced to 82 by 2022, and that was under the stewardship of Honorable Deputy President David Mabuza. So he did well. I think it will be unfair to say he did not do well. From 405 to 82, he did well. I think we should appreciate good work when it's done. Obviously, we want to take it from there, from where Honorable Mabuza left it. We must take it to its ultimate, where we want to reduce this to zero. It will take a bit of time, and let me tell you why it will take a bit of time, Honorable Matthias. The big departments, most of them have got agencies.
It's on which? Sharp.
Oh man, JJ, please mute man. Honorable members, please man.
Yeah.
On the platform. I don't want you to be taken by surprise when we mute all of you. Please, you are disrupting the House. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Matthias, I was saying that the bigger departments or the big departments have got agencies or what we call state-owned enterprises linked to them. So some of the questions that ministers have to answer, they need information from those agencies. And sometimes where they experience delay, they have given me those reasons. Obviously, we're not going to relax and say it's a problem we can't resolve. We have to resolve it. But I just want you to understand that the ministers don't deliberately not answer questions. They also face a lot of challenges when you have a lot of agencies to provide you with information. So we're going to have to find a way on how we assist ministers who have a lot of agencies to be able to have a system. Probably give those agencies a deadline. Say, if we ask you for this information, we want it by this time, so that they are able to answer questions. But otherwise, thank you very much for the question. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy President. The third question, number 3, has been asked by the Honorable N.V. Mende to the Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Mente, the President has expressed his commitment to cooperate fully with all investigations. The government supports this position without reservation. Given the fact that investigations are still ongoing, it will be ill-advised to opine on whether or not the government's effort to combat crime and corruptions have been undermined. We simply do not have sufficient information to reach informed conclusions at this stage. That said, there is one important issue that stands out and merit mentioning even at this stage. The fact that public institutions can, without let or hindrance, investigate the affairs of no less than a figure than the President of the Republic speaks volumes about the strength of our democracy. The government remains committed to fighting crime and corruption. As honorable members are aware, the Parliament is being probed by more than one public agency following the break-in and theft at the President Pala farm. We take this opportunity to reiterate our support for these institutions concerned and emphasize that they must be allowed to complete their work. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Deputy President. The first supplementary question will be asked by the Honorable Mkhalipi.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Deputy President, one of the key reflections made at the Zondo Commission was that when Parliament was required to stand up at the height of the Gupta corruption during Zuma years, this House simply used its majority to shield the executive at the time from accounting. We see this tendency again, where your party uses its majority to try and bury the allegations of money laundering that took place at President's Pala's farm. In the long term, what do you think will be the impact of the ruling party using its majority to circumvent parliamentary accountability? Do you support the fact that a mere majority can undermine findings of a credible independent panel led by a former Chief Justice? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Deputy President.
Honorable Mkhalipi, you got it wrong. We are not shielding. Let me repeat what I said. The President has expressed his commitment to cooperate fully with all investigation. So there is no shielding. I think sometimes there is a zeal to find the President guilty without going through due processes. It's not correct. We are a democracy. We have institutions that we have set up independent. Nobody's interfering with them. Let's not be impatient. Let's allow these institutions to do their work properly. The President is cooperating, is not interfering, and I can assure you that institutions are doing their work without fear or favor. Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy President. The second supplementary question will be asked by the Honorable Q.R. Gyangi.
Thank you very much, Chair. I will be taking the question. And congratulations, Deputy President. Maybe just take this opportunity, Deputy President, to take the nation and this House into confidence about the status of the Pala farm declaration, ranging from SARS to what we have here in Parliament of Section 89 as a parliamentary process. Thank you very much.
Deputy President, thank you, Honorable Member.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mashatile. Yes, indeed, As I said earlier, that there are agencies that are dealing with this matter. Honorable members would know that SARS was dealing with the matter, the public protector, the SIU. I think yourselves, honorable members, even here in Parliament, you were busy looking into this matter. So there are processes that are unfolding. In fact, the public protector issued a preliminary report, not final, preliminary report, and asked those who had made allegations to comment. So it means the issue is not yet done, still undergoing its own processes. Recently, SARS also indicated that they looked at the affairs of the Phala farm and found that, in fact, the president, the Phala farm are compliant in terms of attending to our tax issues. So this process is unfolding. As I said, there are all those institutions that are busy. I want to suggest to honorable members that we allow these institutions to complete their work. And once they've completed their work, you will have an opportunity as this August House to be able to deal with what is a complete report, rather than running around speculating. I think let's remain focused. We will get the report, we will deal with it. Let's respect the institutions that we have set up. Institutions that are set up by our democratic constitutions. They are doing a good job, and let's respect them. Thank you very much, Honorable Mashatile.
Thank you,
Honorable Speaker.
Honorable. Thank you, Honorable Deputy President. The third supplementary question will be asked by the Honorable S. Gwahube.
DP, when the story of the Phala scandal broke, the DA called for an ad hoc committee to investigate this matter. We voted for a Section 89 panel to conduct an impeachment inquiry. All these things were done, including tabling the resolution yesterday that you and your party voted down. Every attempt to have Parliament conduct its constitutional obligation has been blocked by your party, rendering Parliament toothless because of the ANC's majority and commitment to shielding the president. DP, no one is interfering with institutions and their work. Courts have held in this very house that Parliament does not have to wait for other institutions to finish their work before we act. As the leader of government business, what do you say about Parliament's role in terms of investigating the president, in spite of the fact that there are concurrent investigations that are taking place? What of our constitutional obligations? Thank you.
Honorable Deputy President.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Member, I think that's how democracy works. The majority must have its way. No, democracy works that way. Maybe when you have an opportunity to govern, you will understand. Or you do govern in the Western Cape. Yes. So I'm told, and I actually don't know that, but I'm told that's what you do in the Western Cape. And I'm not blaming you, because at some point you must take a decision against us in opposition, right? When you believe your course is correct. So when the ANC believes its course is correct, it would use its majority to push those decisions. And by the way, remember that winning positions and decisions is something you win out there during the elections. So when you campaign and you win, you already win here. If you lose there, you have already lost here. It's as simple as democracy. It works like that all over the world. And I'm happy if in the Western Cape, you vote against us because we are a minority there. There's nothing I can do. Yeah, nothing wrong. Yeah, you're quite right. So it's nothing wrong here as well. Yeah. So let's allow the National Assembly, or may I say Parliament as a whole, but now let's talk about the National Assembly. Let's allow the National Assembly to be able to take decisions in a democratic way. And democracy means majority rules. That's it. Thank you very much, Honorable Mayor.
Thank you, the Honorable Deputy President. We have no request that was received for the last supplementary question. As such, we proceed to question number 4, asked by the Honorable Direko.
Should I proceed, Honorable Speaker?
Honorable Deputy President, you may proceed. The House Chair is now on the seat. The
Okay.
Speaker is out. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, House Chair. Honorable members know, under the leadership of former Deputy President Mabuza, the Interministerial Task Team on Matters of Traditional and Khoisan Leaders conducted extensive consultations with traditional and Khoisan leaders across all provinces as part of the full appreciation of the critical role these leaders play in assisting the state to develop our communities. This task team was established by President Ramaphosa in February 2022 to address all issues of concern of the institution of traditional and Khoisan leadership. The issue of promoting investments and economic development in rural areas is indeed critical, as highlighted in the question by the honorable member. Hence, in the light of this, the task team resolved to establish a work stream that focuses on advancing land ownership, tenure rights, and fast-tracking socio-economic development in these communities. The Interministerial Committee on Agriculture and Land Reform also continued to be instrumental in fast-tracking land reform, or the land reform agenda, as it relates to economic development of rural areas or rural communities. Honorable House Chair, some progress has been registered in this area of work, and much more needs to be done to ensure that our people in rural areas reap the economic benefits of our democracy in ensuring support to our farming communities. A number of rural infrastructure projects have also been delivered by government in various villages across all 9 provinces. Amongst others, this includes mechanization, infrastructure upgrades, irrigation schemes, as well as community facilities such as preschools, community halls, and agri-parks. This has also included the construction and rehabilitation of farmer production support units, such as animal handling facilities, animal clinics, dipping tanks, boreholes, fencing, and other rehab-related infrastructure. Subsistence farming in various parts of the country are supported by the Presidential Economic Stimulus Initiative to obtain production inputs through a voucher system which allows them to continue to grow their crops, feed their livestock, and in turn, sustain their livelihoods. To date, Honorable Speaker, Honorable House Chair, 107 farmers have been registered as subsistence farmers that have benefited from the Presidential Economic Stimulus Initiative. Honorable House Chair, at the local government summit that was held last year, it was resolved that the proposals made by the Institution of Traditional Leadership in the form of what is called Invest Rural Master Plan should inform socio-economic development plans at local level. The Invest Rural Master Plan seeks to convert rural development challenges into opportunities for investment, covering critical areas such as infrastructure development, agriculture, service delivery, financial inclusion, and rural enterprise development, amongst others. In addition, the Invest Rural strategy has now been mainstreamed into the integrated rural development strategy and the rural development strategy of the Department of Agriculture, Land Reform, and Rural Development. Furthermore, a number of skills development programs have been implemented through the National Rural Youth Service Corps, attracting and empowering young people from various traditional communities, such as those from Barolong Basilika in the Free State Province. Both the Interministerial Task Team on Traditional and Khoi Sand Leaders and the Interministerial Committee on Agriculture and Land Reform will continue to strengthen partnerships with the Institution of Traditional Leadership to collectively address issues of investments and economic development. Following the Communal Land Administration and Tenure Reform Summit that was held in May last year, the Department of Agriculture, Land Reform, and Rural Development has commenced with the process of developing the Communal Land Tenure Policy. This policy will address issues of land ownership, thus contributing to socio-economic development in rural communities. Honorable members, this task of addressing issues of development in areas under the jurisdiction of traditional leadership is a collaborative effort between national government, provinces, municipalities, and the traditional leaders themselves. As government will continue to engage with traditional and coastal leaders to collectively find workable solutions for addressing the issue of socio-economic development in their areas. We cannot fail in this task because rural areas are an integral part of our identity as a people, and our country cannot achieve its full economic potential if these areas continue to be on the periphery and are excluded economically. Honorable House Chair, once the President asked me to deal with this matter, I've asked my office to arrange a meeting with the House of Traditional and Khoi leadership so that we are able to deal with the many issues that they have been raising before. So we will be meeting them in the next few weeks. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much. Honorable Paulson, please, with Honorable Mlenzani. The first follow-up question will come from the Honorable Jireko.
Ke a leboha motlatsa dipuisano, motsamaisi wa dipuisano a hlomphehang. Mohlomphehi motlatsa mopresidente Ntate Mashatile, mahlohonolo ke ao. Ntlafatso ya moruo e itshetleile ho fumaneng ha lefatshe. Mme ho fapana le metse ya ditoropong, metse ya rona e ka tlasa boetapele ba marena e sebedisa ho fumaneha ha lefatshe bakeng sa ho aha matlo, bakeng sa temo le dikgwebo. Ke ka hoo tshireletso ya tumellano ya lefatshe e leng bohlokwa hobane e thusa ho hoela matsete le ho fumantshwa ha ditshehetso tsa ditjhelete dibankeng. Jwale ke kgatelopele efe eo mmuso e entseng ho netefatsa hore re matlafatsa tshireletso ya tumellano ya mobu o kopaneng hore re tsebe ho hodisa moruo wa rona wa metseng ya marena. Ke a leboha.
Ra leboga motlatsa mopresidente.
Ke a leboga kgaitsedi le lore Setswana ke se utlwisise. I should have used translation. But if I think I've heard you well, is that what efforts are we taking to work with traditional leaders out there to improve the economic situation of their areas? Am I correct? Ke nnete, ke ile ka bolela ha ke thoma gore ke tlo kopana le bona. Ka re mopresidente o itse mosebetsi o mongwe wa ka gore ke kopane le marena. Re bontshane hore re tlo ntlafatsa jwang ditulo tseo mo baleng teng. Ke a tshepa hore ka kopano eo ba tla ba na le ditletlebo tsa bona tse ba tla di behang gore re bontshane. Ka re mmuso wa ANC o batla hore ditulo tsena tse re di bitsa hore ke di-rural areas mo marena a leng teng le tsona ebe ditulo tse di tla tswella pele. In other words, we want to see improvement in the rural areas working with traditional leaders. Nobody must be left behind. The rural areas in particular, sometimes they seem to be forgotten. And maybe that's why the president said to me, one of the things he wants me to do is to go and work with traditional leaders so that we don't leave them behind. So kaitsedi ka nnete ke mathela teng. Ke a leboha.
Ra leboga motlatsa mopresidente. Motlhomphegi Re Masipa.
Dumela, Motlatsa Mopresidente. More than 10 million hectares of land in rural parts of South Africa are still owned by South African Bantu Trust and Minister of Native Land. Your ANC government, Honorable Deputy President, has treated our people as second-class citizens, denying them the right to own properties. Would your government support the DA's proposed land justice bill that will see communal land residents? Let me repeat. Will your government support the DA's proposed land justice bill that will see communal land residents who, upon request to have the deeds register their individual title deeds or communal property association, and in so doing, stimulate economic development and crowd in the investment? I hope you got the question.
Yes, I've got the question.
Thank you.
You may proceed, Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Honorable Masipa, we definitely have no intention to deny our people land. I haven't had the opportunity to read the DA Justice bill. Maybe you'll give me a copy of it so I can look at it. But the approach of our government is to release land, not the other way around. We want land to go to the people, but in an orderly way. And that's what we are doing. So in a meeting with traditional leaders, we will be discussing this matter. So if they say to me that the ANC is denying them land, I will listen to them and understand why is that the case. Because as far as I know, we are releasing land. We want to ensure that our people have access to land, they can farm. And this commitment to work with rural areas is not just sloganeering. We're going to do that, Honorable Masipa. And if you do have the impression that we are not releasing land, we're actually denying people land, let me have those facts, because I will be working there with them. I want to say to our people out there, traditional leaders, we are coming to you to ensure that you do have access to land, you can farm, produce food, and be able to improve your rural communities. So we will do exactly that. Thank you, Honorable Master.
Thank you, Honorable GP. The next supplementary question will be asked by the Honorable Hendricks from the virtual platform, I believe.
Thank you very much, Honorable House Chair. Honorable House Chair, I do constituency work in about 50 villages in the rural areas. In Mapami village in the Mbasi municipality near Coffee Bay, Chief No Honors Shishengu has asked me to ask for your assistance as Leader of Parliament to speed up the promotion of investment and economic development in our rural area, where my constituency parliamentary office is working to convert it into a fishing and smart village with better tourist appetite than Coffee Bay, if roads are obviously fixed. The chief wants assistance with 15 rural tourist huts for accommodation that will be run each by 15 women, and a cold room to store fish for a local cooperative, which a Deputy Minister Kapa gave a fishing to. You can't sell your fish the same day. All this is in preparation for President Ramaphosa, who asked in a parliamentary session to be invited and catch some of the fish. We would like to know, a Leader of Parliament, how you can assist these rural chiefs. And there's also the Queen of the Nama royal family on the Cape Flats, who are desperately looking for assistance. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Before you respond, Honorable Deputy President, let me remind you, as those who are asking follow-up questions, that the timing is still the same. So I'm very lenient on you. And Honorable April, your hand is up. Why is your hand up from the virtual platform?
Thank you, Chairperson. Mine was just to say that when members speak, we cannot hear them properly. The sound is very low when members speak from the House.
Okay. Can the ICT look into that? Please. Honorable Deputy President, we'll look into that. You may proceed.
Thank you very much, House Chair, Honorable House Chair.
Order, honorable members. What is wrong now? Can we allow the Deputy President to respond?
Thank you, Honorable House Chair. Honorable Hendricks, thank you very much for your proposals. If I heard him well, I think he talked about Mbashe, talked about Coffee Bay. Let me say to Honorable Hendricks that indeed we want to assist rural communities. And the reason why we want to have this meeting with traditional leaders is exactly that, because some of them have proposals already. Some of them are already embarking on economic initiatives, which as national government working with provinces and municipalities must assist them to succeed. So Honorable Hendricks, definitely those proposals can come to us. I do hope that once we've had the meeting with the traditional leadership, we'll take into account those proposals. Thank you very much, Honorable, and thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, the Honorable GP. As we proceed to the last follow-up question from the Honorable Mkalipi.
Thank you, House Chair. One of the major issues affecting communities living under the authority of traditional leaders is the question of access to land, particularly for women. Former President Kgalema Motlanthe, in his report to Parliament, in which he reviewed legislation passed after 1994, decried the manner in which traditional leaders were handling access to and rights to land of people living in areas under their control. What engagements are you planning to have with traditional leaders to resolve this crisis? Do you agree with Montlante's characterization of traditional leaders as tin pot dictators? Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable, the Deputy President.
Honorable Mkalipe, as I said earlier, that we are indeed arranging this meeting to engage with traditional leaders. We will definitely look into the issue of women having access to land. I think it's a noble thing that women as well should have access to land. So I will be engaging with them. We'll deal with this issue of access to land and other issues that they may be concerned about. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We now move to question number 5, asked by the Honorable Majosi to the Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable House Chair. Thank you, Honorable Majosi, for your question. Honorable House Chair, the district model or development model has in the main been designed to ensure the delivery of services to communities in an integrated manner. In our view, the district development model, or DDM in short, is a golden opportunity to partner all spheres of government and civil society to address critical challenges confronting the people at local level, including attending to service delivery hotspots across the country. Through the implementation of the whole of government approach, the presidency, working with the Department of COGTA and all relevant role players, will continue to fast track the resolution of existing service delivery challenges by developing and implementing targeted action plans involving all spheres of government. In the coming year, and aligned to responsibilities as assigned by President Ramaphosa to the Deputy President, this work include championing responses to problems identified in specific municipalities for resolution. Beyond providing political leadership, together with colleagues in the Department of COGTA, National Treasury, and Planning and Monitoring and Evaluation, we will zoom into the issues of good governance as they have been consistently flagged by the Auditor General. We will receive and strengthen intergovernmental relations to assist municipalities whose governance protocols are weak, resulting in a lot of financial leakages and, in some instances, collapse of the provision of basic services to communities. This calls on us to become more proactive and, as such, compel us to create early warning and quick response mechanisms to areas where there are service delivery failures. Part of the solution rests with building adequate capacity in municipalities, both at district and local level, for them to be able to discharge their service delivery mandate more effectively. Indeed, what fundamentally will assist us to turn around the situation will be the full implementation of an improved district development approach by implementing the district development model. I thank you, Honorable House Chair.
Thank you. I'm informed that the Honorable Singh will take charge of the question as asked by the Honorable Majosi.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Thank you, Honorable Deputy President, for the response on behalf of Honorable Majosi. Now, we know that the President in the 2019 presidency budget speech identified, and I quote, "the pattern of operating in silos," close quote, as a challenge, which led to, and I quote again, "to the lack of coherence in planning and implementation and has made monitoring and oversight of government's program difficult," close quote. The consequence of this has been non-optimal delivery of services and diminished impact on the triple challenges of poverty, inequality, and employment. Now, the district development model builds on the white paper on local government of 1998, which sought to ensure that, quote, "local government is capacitated and transformed to play a developmental role." Now, the DDM, Honorable Deputy President, is not a new concept that came up last year. It is something in the 1997-2000 in KwaZulu-Natal, which we tried out in KwaZulu-Natal, where we worked with provincial government, national government, and local government, but we had our fair amount of challenges. But it's good that this model is being brought back on the table now. And I'm also glad you mentioned the Auditor General, because good governance is certainly a pipe dream in many, many of our municipalities. And that is something that we see from AG's report. Now, my question, Honorable Deputy President, would be, considering that government departments, national government departments, owe municipalities almost 23 billion rand, I would like to know how you will address
Proceed.
I would like to know how you will address the issue of non-payment, as it directly impacts the local government's ability to collaborate with other spheres of government. So that is my question, Honorable Deputy President.
Thank you. Honorable members, before the Deputy President responds, please stop disturbing people about time. I have Rule 142.5. You must read it. It tells us how many minutes each person has. So we know what you are doing. Proceed, Honorable Deputy President.
Thank you, Honorable House Chair. Honorable Singh, indeed, the district development model intend to ensure that we don't work in silos. So we want to integrate. We want national government, provinces, municipalities to even combine not only their plans, but also resources. Because often you find another arm of government putting resources in a particular way, another one going in a particular way in the same district. So this time we are saying, let's integrate. I say that it's something that is really at the bottom of your heart. And I'm sure you'll be working with us as we roll out. We are rolling out now. We're going to all the provinces throughout the country, ensure that this must be the way of life. No government department must operate in a silo. We bring them together, bring municipalities together, national government, because in the past, you would find the national government department launching a project in a province, and the province is not even there. And people complain, what is this minister doing? So the district development model is going to end all that, to ensure that we pull in the same direction. The issue of monies owed by national government to municipality, indeed, we are already engaging with national department on this question. And our message is very simple, pay the municipalities. That's the message to national government, because that's the message to national government, because we can't, as national government, ask others to pay if we don't. So the buck starts with us. National department must pay municipalities, otherwise we cripple them. And then we're going to stand on national platform and say, oh, municipalities are unviable, they are dysfunctional. So we must lead by example to make and strengthen municipalities by, amongst others, paying them. And we will do so. A lot of money, of course, but over time, we'll make sure that municipalities must receive what is due to them. Thank you very much for the question.
Thank you. Mhlonishwa Mkhatshwa, ithuba ngelakho.
Thank you very much, House Chair, and thank you very much to the DP and welcome, DP. DP, as the African National Congress, we truly do believe in the idea of a district development model to have one district with one plan and one budget, in ensuring that we're able to address the inequalities that have been referred to in terms of unemployment, inequality, and poverty, particularly for young women and persons, young women or youth women and persons living with
It's
disabilities.
like confirming the employment.
Wait.
So in HR that can.
Honorable Ndabeni, Honorable Minister Ndabeni, please mute. Proceed, Honorable Member.
Very much.
I hope that the Deputy President was able to catch the part where there was noise.
If you may repeat. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, you may repeat. Yes, you are allowed. Please check, reset the clock.
Thank you, House Chair. We had welcomed you, DP, and thank you very much for your earlier responses. So I was saying, at the African National Congress, we truly do believe in the district development model being a golden opportunity for us to maximize on resources that government has to ensure that we address issues of inequality, poverty, and unemployment, particularly for youth, women, and persons living with disabilities. I think there needs to be a multi-pronged approach amongst ourselves in ensuring the implementation of the district development model. As Parliament, we are playing our role in holding departments to account on how they are contributing to the fruition and realization of the district development model. I can speak about science and innovation and how there are so many innovations and research that does speak to how we can address the social collisions in society that need to be implemented across departments and at various spheres of government. That is our contribution to ensuring the realization of the district development model. Can you take us through what other initiatives and plans you have as the Office of the Deputy President to enhance the implementation and the institutionalization of the district development model? I thank you, House Chair.
Thank you. The Honorable Deputy President.
Yes, House Chair, thank you very much. There's somebody disturbing me that side. Honorable Mkhatshwa, most definitely. I agree with you that we have to have a multi-pronged approach in strengthening the district development model. You have indicated involvement of women, people with disabilities, basically involving everyone. And our approach as government is to ensure that when we roll out the district development model, we don't just roll it out as a concept, but as something that is practical on the ground. I was saying to the team in my office last week that when we deal with service delivery challenges and we go out, as the president said we should operate in that fashion. We're not going to go out in any province as national government. When we go out, we must meet with the provinces, we must meet with municipalities and be able to, whatever we do, pull in other stakeholders. Because remember, when we deal with development, stakeholders is not just the 3 spheres of government. You have traditional leaders out there, you have NGOs, let's find a way of involving everybody in this approach. You have sport bodies, everybody has a stake in ensuring that development takes place. So we are going to continue to innovate. I know that it's a model that everybody says we should continue to improve. So we're going to do that and ensure that we don't leave anybody behind. Everybody must get involved. Thank you very much, Honorable Mkhatshwa. Thank you, House Chair.
Thank you. Agbare lid Wissels, dis u se geleentheid nou.
Baie dankie, agbare voorsitter. Deputy President, if one evaluates the last 25 years of local government, one sees that there has been a tendency to make municipalities bigger. Thus, we have less municipalities than we had in 1998. I think we are about 5 times less if one goes and look at the number of municipalities we have currently. We also have a lot of functions that are budgeted for and money is appropriated through the division of revenue bill towards district municipalities. But district municipalities does not function. They don't do anything, and they are actually just institutions that pay salaries. More than 80% of their budgets are dispersed with regards to salaries. The bigger and bigger municipalities get, the less service delivery is provided to communities. If one looks at the goal of the district development model to actually address
Ongelukkig is dit is nou om.
don't you think we should get follow the recommendations of the Fiscal and Finance Commission and make municipalities smaller again and get service delivery closer to the people?
Thank you. Leka Fetola, Motlatsamo President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Wessels. No, we did not make municipalities bigger and bigger. We just aligned them for better coordination. That's what we did. And I'll tell you why. If you look at some of what you refer to as smaller municipalities, they did not even have a revenue base to operate on their own. So in truth, they were not real municipalities. I'll give you an example. In Johannesburg, in the past, we had a lot of small municipalities. So Sandton was a municipality on its own, and it had factories in Wynberg, Bramley, and all those surrounding areas. I'm not sure if you know Joburg. But if you move to Alex was a municipality as well. And it had no single factory that it could levy for any revenue. But we had a mayor, Reverend Sembuti, may his soul rest in peace, dressed in nice mayoral robes, no revenue base at all, nothing. But he was called a mayor of a municipality. And those of you know Alex from 2nd Avenue to 22 Avenue, just houses. You know it. Yeah, so you agree with what I'm saying? Yeah, he agrees. So the point I'm making, you must understand, you said you want questions to the Deputy President answered. So Honorable Blessers, I'm saying, therefore, that the district that we created was for coordination. We didn't expect district to be delivering. They were coordinating the municipalities. We didn't kill the small municipalities, but we coordinate them in those districts. And it really improved the operation of those municipalities. So if you argue that we just need to have smaller municipalities separate, some of them won't be able even to remove garbage. They won't have, because they have no revenue base. So I think we must proceed with the issue of districts, municipalities to coordinate smaller municipalities, and where possible, continue to amalgamate some of them as we have been doing so that they become viable. There's no need to say you have a municipality when people just wake up, go there, wait for their salaries. There's nothing they can do. So our approach is correct. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Honorable House Chair.
The Honorable Space, the last follow-up question.
Thank you, Honorable House Chair. Deputy President, I find your responses indeed very different in comparison with the Deputy Minister Tao last week. Deputy President, a great majority of the district municipalities in this country is dysfunctional. They're a strain on the fiscus, have no real income of their own, and only take money that could be going to local municipalities or provinces. These municipalities impose water, waste, fire service levies on citizens, which should be included in their services from the equitable share. District municipalities cannot get their salary bills under 50% without outside intervention. How can they reasonably be expected to deliver the services they claim are circumscribed in the Constitution?
Thank you. The Honorable, the Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Honorable House Chair, let me ask the member if you may, Honorable Member, favor me with a list of some of those municipalities you observe. I would like to look at that. Yeah, I'd like to look at that because we have made it clear that we want municipalities to function and be viable. We are doing our own assessment as well, but if you have done so, give me that list. I'll sit with my team, look at it, because we will be visiting some of the areas. It may be that is the area where you have identified, but let me put it this way. The commitment of our government is to have viable municipalities. Whatever we do now, we're going to intervene to ensure that municipalities are not constituted by people who go and collect salaries. It must be an institution that serves communities, remove garbage, clean the streets, deal with potholes, and deal with those issues that brings a better life for people. If people are just going to an office to collect salaries, then they shouldn't be there. It means so our commitment is to have viable municipality. Thank you very much, Honorable Member, and thank you, House Chair.
Thank you. The last question of the day for you, Deputy President, is from Honorable Dana. Question number 6. You may proceed.
Thank you, Honorable House Chair. Honorable House Chair, we are gravely concerned about the current state of our local government, not only in Kopano municipality, but across the whole country. The situation calls for immediate intervention by all spheres of government. As a practical illustration of the district development model that we've just spoken about, to improve service delivery of services at local government level, as we have referred to earlier. In line with this year Water Week, which began on 20th of March and will end this Sunday, with the focus, and I quote, accelerating change. The government on its part is embarking on a number of turnaround efforts. Among this is ensuring the necessary speed in initiatives that are aimed at ensuring that all citizens have access to reliable water services and embarking on necessary water conservation measures. Furthermore, the 2021 State of Local Government report identified Kopanong local municipality as a service delivery hotspot and a dysfunctional municipality. When the disaster occurred through the collapse of a dam or a dam wall in Jagersfontein, I must stop my Jagger. In Jagersfontein. In September 2022, government moved with speed to ensure that the situation does not get worse than it already was. We are pleased, Honorable House Chair, to report that water supply in the Kopanong municipality was restored to full capacity as part of the rapid response intervention by the Department of Water and Sanitation and the Water Board. That's the Bloom Water Board. The Department of Water and Sanitation, in partnership with Bloom Water, has put in place the following tangible interventions to ensure availability of water in Kopanong municipality. First, 2 18,000-liter water tankers were deployed in Jagersfontein in the morning of the 12th September 2022 and were operational in that area for 3 months. Secondly, reoperationalization of water treatment works in the area has been completed. A backup generator has been installed for supply of electricity to the plant due to power being affected by the collapse of the sludge dam. Power restoration was conducted by Celtec, Centrelec, a local electricity distributor, on the 14th of September 2022, which enabled the water treatment works to operate at full capacity.
Ningayifederisi indaba nasenje. Thulani. Hey.
Honorable
We
House Chair.
apologize, Honorable GP. These are the problems we encounter. Honorable members on the virtual platform, I take this minute to say, please check your gadgets and mute them. You really are disturbing us. Mute your gadgets.
Honorable House Chair, this intervention assisted to restore bulk water distribution to other areas, except at the time for Charlesville, in Jagersfontein and Forest Smith towns, respectively. And this was due to a pipeline which was damaged by the flooding. On the 13th of October 2022, a new bulk pipeline was laid by the maintenance team of Bloom Water in the area of Charlesville to supply the community with bulk water from the treatment works. On 21st October 2022, the last portion of the pipeline supplying Charlesville, which was damaged in the disaster, was repaired and commissioned to supply the whole area with bulk water storm from the treatment works. A series of water quality tests were conducted by both Bloom Water and the Department of Water and Sanitation throughout the 3 months since the disaster happened. On the 14th of September 2022, 45,000 liters of water tanker from Coca-Cola Beverage Africa was deployed to Charlesville to augment water supply to the community. Regrettably, Bloom Water have since informed the Kopanong municipality that it will not be able to continue supplying water at full capacity due to non-payment of the outstanding debt. Until now, the municipality has not honored payment of the current account, nor provided a realistic payment plan covering the historic debt to Bloom Water. This has finally led to decision by the company to once again restrict water at 30% to all 9 towns in the Kopanong municipality. As government, we remain committed to intervening in resolving the impasse. In this regard, the Department of Water and Sanitation is playing a coordinating role in ensuring that all stakeholders, such as COCTA, Bloom Water, Office of the Premier, and the municipality, are planning together to find permanent solution in restoring water and wastewater infrastructure. COCTA, Water and Sanitation are in consultation with Free State Provincial Government to invoke Section 139 of the Constitution, to be read with Section 63 of the Water Services Act 1997, which will be a targeted intervention on the water and sanitation affairs of the municipality. Improvement in the delivery of services at local government level, including the provision of water and sanitation, is a critical aspect of our development agenda. Honorable House Chair, it is for this reason that we are planning to conduct a series of outreach programs with special focus on service delivery challenges at local government level, including in Kopanong municipality. This is aimed at turning around the situation for the betterment of our people. So we have been planning this. The president has asked us to go to areas where there are challenges and hotspots to work with provinces, municipalities to resolve this. So we have included Kopanong as one of the areas we will also visit in the coming weeks. Thank you very much, House Chair.
Thank you, House Chair. Thank you, Deputy President, for the answer. Deputy President, I'm not sure who gave you your information, but the situation in Kopanong has been deteriorating for 7 years. This municipality was a disaster before the disaster and before it was declared a disaster. People have been struggling with adequate supply of water in this municipality for 7 years. This is a forgotten municipality. Now, I don't know if the ruling ANC just forgot about Kopanong because you don't know how to fix what you broke. But the Constitution guarantees the residents of Kopanong access to adequate water supply. They are not currently receiving that. Now, I'm hearing things about outreach programs and committed to intervening, playing a coordinating role between stakeholders and planning together and whatever. Thank you, Deputy President, for the beautiful words, but these words won't put water in the taps of the residents of Kopanong. What will be done to ensure that this municipality is able to honor its payment agreement of the outstanding debt of 600 million rand to Bloom Water in order for them to lift the throttle of 30% water supply to the people of Kopanong? Because these people are suffering, Deputy President, and outreach programs will not help them. They need water. Thank you, House Chair.
Thank you, Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Dana. Thank you for informing me that the situation has been deteriorating for many years. Just to maybe bring you to speed, it's not just good words. I've already appointed a team that by now probably might be already be in Kopanong before I arrive. Because we have decided that we need to ensure that when the president said go and intervene, I don't want to be on jolly rides. So I've appointed the team to go to these areas before I arrive, so that when I arrive, there must be a solution. I'm not going to an imbizo. But bantu bakithi nikhala ngani. No, I already know. The team must tell me, this is what we must do to address this problem before I arrive. So this is not beautiful words. It's words of action. We are going to Kopano, but the crack team is already there to ensure that they can tell us what the problems are. And we're not doing it, we won't do it only in Kopano. The president said, go to all the hotspots where there are challenges, where there are problems. We know. So in short, Honorable Dana, we will be going to Kopano. We will attend to the challenges because we know that water is very important for the survival of people. We use water to drink, to cook, to wash. So for us, is a priority, and we're going out there. We're going out there to fix the problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Metseke, sebaka ke sa hao mme.
Thank you very much, House Chair, and ke go leboge, Deputy President of the country. I think this year, the NC has declared this year as a year of decisive action to advance the people's interest. And I think that is what we are doing to address the people's challenges. Deputy President, recognizing that all various departments and all spheres of government, such as Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Water and Sanitation, and the Free State Province, are considering a Section 139 and Section 63 of the Water Services Act, respectively. What are the critical interventions required to support Kopano municipality and other municipalities facing similar challenges to be financially viable? I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable, the Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member Tseke. Honorable House Chair, as we go out to deal with service delivery challenges in municipalities, we all have to be cognizant of the fact that we want viable municipalities. So we must assist them to survive long after we are gone. Because it doesn't help to go into the area, you assist people, as soon as you have left, they collapse. So we are looking at long term. When we get there, we're not just saying to Kopanong, okay, now we have resolved the problem of blue water and you supply water and we leave. We must look at what are other challenges that will make this municipality survive. And municipalities don't survive when they don't have an economic base, when they don't have revenue, waiting for national government to give them grants. We must help municipalities to survive, to have an economic base. So we will do that in Kopano, as we will do in other municipalities. Our intervention team is collecting all the data and we will know everything before we get there. Everywhere we go, we want to know everything about the area. What are the possible solutions? Because our mission is to resolve the problem for the betterment of our people, not for the short term, for the long term. That's why I'm going to these areas sooner rather than later, because if I go later, they'll say I'm campaigning for elections. So I'm going to go now, not later. I know Honorable Khalip will say, "Ow, he's campaigning now." No, I'm going now. I'm going now long before the campaign starts. Yeah, although I know that some others already started campaigning. But thina sikaqali. Yeah. So lungisa izinto before siqala. Yeah. So Honorable House Chair, thank you very much. We will attend to the problem of Kopano. Thank you, Honorable Secretary.
Thank you very much, Honorable GP. Honorable Basan.
Thank you, House Chair. Deputy Minister, what actions, if any? Sorry, Deputy President, my apologies. Deputy President, what actions?
Order, honorable members. He said my apologies, you continue to speak. Proceed, Honorable Bason.
Deputy President, what actions, if any, did your government take to address the root cause of the tailing dam disaster in Jagersfontein and prevent similar incidents from occurring in the future? And what are the long-term plans to ensure that a community have sustainable access to water, clean drinking water in Jagersfontein? And then Deputy Chairperson, President, if we really want to assist the people in Jagersfontein, the department must withdraw the water license in Kopanong. And what is your view on that, so that Bloem Water can deliver water directly to the community? Thank you.
Before you respond, I hope you know, Honorable Bason, that you are allowed to ask one supplementary question. You asked 3, but Deputy President, is up to you to respond. Thank you.
Honorable Bason, since there's a team that we have sent out and I'm going there, we will know what plans we must put in place. So I won't say now. Check me when I come back. I'll tell you what the plans are. We are going there. Yes, long before elections. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The Honorable Mkalipi is the last.
Wait, Deputy President. Be protected.
Ignore.
Okay. Wait, Deputy President. The Kopanong municipality is an indication of the general state of municipality in the country. But when I was listening to you, you said you have already have a team that have been sent to this municipality. And earlier on, you said you must be provided with a list of all dysfunctional municipalities. Do you have a plans or you don't have a plans? Because we are talking about hotspots. You are talking about a team that has been established by yourself before you even come here to do what? What is the time frame? Can you just be clear so we can walk along with you? This is a very serious issue. This is a very serious issue. Please don't howl at me. So do you have a plan or you don't have a plan, Deputy President? Because we have an experience of water crisis, we have experience of poles in the roads. And when you come here, you tell us that you have plans, but your plans are not clear, Can you just be clear and tell us what is the time frame of your team and which other municipalities that you are attending to? As you said, that your president.
Thank you. Your time is now up. Thank you. The Honorable Deputy President. Order, members.
Thank you, Honorable House Chair. I think Honorable Mkalipi was not listening to me attentively.
Order.
I'm going to repeat and you'll get it properly. I said I've appointed a team that must go out to municipalities where there are service delivery challenges, hotspots, to put it succinctly, and Kopanong will be included. So they've already gone out. So you don't do plans just sitting in the office. You need to be informed what the challenges are, right? So I could have sat at the union building and come up with plans. No, we need to know exactly all the details because these areas are not the same. These municipalities are not the same. So you can't come with just one blanket solution. All we can assure you is that we will be there on the ground. We will be working with municipalities, provinces. I did say earlier, sooner rather than later. I think I said that. Sooner rather than later. In other words, in the next few weeks, I will be on the road. The team is gone already. Few weeks, I'm on the road. So once we have moved in, we'll have plans, we'll have time frames, because we don't want to have plans and time frames. It's a marker. We want real ones. Because I can please you with time frames that I've drawn sitting in the office. No, I want real ones. No, the ANC doesn't do that. We'll give you plans that are real, that are going to ensure, because at the end of the day, it's about our people. We don't want to lie to our people. When we say we can fix this way, we're going to do it. But otherwise, thank you very much for the questions. Thank you, Honorable Chair. House Chair.
Thank you, Deputy President. Thank you very much. It was your first question session, and we really appreciate you coming and answering in the House. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, honorable members.
So,
We proceed. Honorable Mkalipi. Order. Honorable members, order. Honorable members, please, we must proceed. We have a lot of work ahead of us for today. And Honorable Mkalipi, you know you can't press that mic and speak. You know that very well. Please don't do that. I will now ask the secretary to read the first order.
Consideration of the report of the Standing Committee on Appropriations on the Division of Revenue Bill.
Thank you. May I now recognize the Chief Whip of the Majority Party?
Thank you very much, House Chair. House Chair, I move that the House adopt this report. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any objections? Yes, Honorable Kwahube.
House Chair, please note the objection of the Democratic Alliance.
Noted.
House Chair, please note the ACDP.
Thank you, EFF. Thank you, Honorable Swart, for the
ACDP.
ACDP, I'm sorry for that. Any other party? None. We note the objections as said, and it is agreed to. We now go to the second order. Can we ask the secretary?
Second reading debate, Division of Revenue Bill.
I will now invite the Honorable Buthelezi, the chairperson of the Appropriations, to give us the report.
Honorable House Chairperson, let me take this opportunity to greet the former chairperson of Standing Committee on Appropriations, the Deputy President of the African National Congress, the Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa. Yayibona-ke indlela ihamba phi. Honorable Chief Whip of the Majority Party, Comrade Pemi Majodina, Honorable Ministers, Deputy Ministers, Honorable Members, ladies and gentlemen. The African National Congress supports the 2023 Division of Revenue Bill, and we hope all political parties will do so. For the sake of about 60 million people of our country's lives are dependent on this bill. The bill divides national raised revenue among the national government, 9 provincial government, and 257 municipalities to enable them to deliver services to South Africans. Honorable members, the passing of this bill is critical to enable government to pay teachers, nurses, police. It allows government to provide food to more than 9 million children at school who would otherwise go the whole day without eating anything, and literally all the services that government provides. Siyacela-ke ukuthi laba abaphikisana nohulumeni kaKhongolose bangasebenzisi lo mthetho ukuvimba ukuthi abantu baseNingizimu Afrika bancedeke. We are therefore saying, think twice before you reject this bill. To many South Africans, especially Black people, the victims of more than 3.5 centuries of deliberate exclusion from decent education, health, infrastructure, and so on and so forth, the passing of this bill is very important for their sustenance. Honorable House Chairperson, it is important to note that the 2023 budget increases allocations for all 3 spheres of government. This happens despite the very challenging economic conditions in the country and globally. Revenue that is distributed is 1.689 trillion rand, 49% of which goes to national government, 41.2 to provinces, 9.7 to local government. In line with the call by SALCA, Financial and Fiscal Commission, and Parliamentary Budget Office, there's a gradual movement for more resources to local government. For instance, in 2025, national government allocation decreases to 48.3, while local government allocation increases to 10.1%. Over the MTF, direct provincial allocations increased by 92.7 billion rand to 2.17 trillion rand. Local government allocations increased by 14.3 billion rand to 521.7 billion rand over the same period. This bill is deliberately redistributive. Although metropolitan municipalities account for 70.1% of personal income tax revenue, metros only receive 32.6% of local government transfers. Sithi siwuhulumeni oholwa uKhongolose, sifuna izimali ziye kohulumeni basemakhaya ngoba yibo abaseduze nabantu. Okulula ubona ukusheshe bafike lapho kunezidingo khona. Sekela Mongameli, abantu bakithi bayasizwa sikhuluma ngezigidigidi zezimali, kodwa zigcina zingafikile kubona. Siyacela-ke kubaphathiswa, amakhansela, abaqondisi jikelele, ukuthi izimali nezidingo kufinyelele ngesikhathi kubantu bakithi. Ave kuyichilo futhi kuyihlazo ukubona imali ipindela kumgcini mafa ekupheleni konyaka. Kuthiwa ayisebenzanga kodwa abantu bebebulawa inkengane bedla imbuya ngothi. South Africa is a unitary state, Honorable Steenhuisen. It allows the people of our country to share nationally raised revenue. There is a tendency of the beneficiaries of the sweat and blood of our forefathers and mothers to want to monopolize this revenue. We as the ANC are deliberate in redistributing substantial resources from urban areas to fund rural services. Lest we forget, Johannesburg, Cape Town, Durban, and other affluent areas were direct recipients of migrant labor system, after which our people were dumped in the arid labor reserves, the so-called homelands. With this bill, we are correcting that mess. Sulungisa amahliphi-hliphi kaJan van Riebeeck, amahliphi-hliphi kaFerwood noFoster noPorter, nomongameli wokugcina wedlanzana labamhlophe uFW de Klerk. In fact, honorable members, we must reject the secessionist tendencies of the DA. Ningacabanga ukuthi asiniboni, senithi nifuna amaphoyisa manje. Amaphoyisa aphethe uhulumeni kazwelonke, uhulumeni okhethwe abantu, uhulumeni oholwa yi-African National Congress. The Confederation model was correctly defeated at CODESA. Do not bring it through the back door. The President, His Excellency, has been at pains to stress the need for higher growth rates for South Africa. That he did when he presented the ERRP. In that plan, he identified spending infrastructure as what will pull the economy by its bootstraps out of stagnation. He said, I quote, infrastructure has immense potential to stimulate investment and growth, to develop other economic sectors and create sustainable employment, both directly and indirectly. The bill allocates resources for health, schools, bridges, dams, roads, infrastructure. An example is the ONDC's Rural Bridges Program of 3.7 billion rand. The sight of our children crossing overflowing rivers with their books on their heads is a painful one. Honorable members, this massive infrastructure program we're embarking upon, properly implemented, must achieve inclusive economic growth, low debt and less debt service costs, broad black economic empowerment, which must be achieved by using public procurement. Uhulumeni ka-ANC usikhiphile lesamba semali ukuthi kwakhiwe amabloho ukuze izingane zethu zikwazi ukufinyelela ezikoleni. Again, honorable members, before you vote no to this bill, think of the little children who go to school hungry. Think of those young ones who must cross bridge overflowing rivers. Before you vote no, think about interventions on early child development, Muntuza. Before you vote no to this bill, think of the teachers, police and nurses who wake up every day to teach and serve people of South Africa. ANC uyawuxhasa lo mthetho. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you, honorable member. The next speaker is the Honorable Sarupen.
I would like to say to my second favorite chief whip, the chief whip of the ANC, that this platform is high enough and we would not in the old chamber needed the step. Mr. House Chair, let me start by just responding to some comments from Honorable Buthelezi when he speaks about redistribution from urban to rural centers. The 1990s called and they want their policies back because in 2023, 66% of all South Africans live in 13 major urban and secondary cities. And we've got to start remembering when we make policy that there are as many urban poor as there are rural poor, and they must not be left behind in policy and legislation either. And that we must treat people as individuals and equal. Now, the division of revenue bill that we are debating here today, that regrettably Honorable Buthelezi didn't get into the meat of, is meant to equitably, and the key word here is equitably, divide revenue between national, provincial, and local governments. Now, on the 19th of October last year, the Ekurhuleni Metro prepared a council item that made for fascinating reading. And it goes as follows. Because of load shedding, the Metro now spends 3.5 million rand a day on generators to keep critical functions going. Cable faults cost the municipality 200,000 rand a day because of load shedding. Switchgear failure because of load shedding cost the municipality 100,000 rand a day. Theft and vandalism of energy infrastructure during load shedding cost the municipality 350,000 rand a day. Additional overtime to effect repairs to energy equipment as a result of load shedding runs to 75,000 rand a day. And keeping water and wastewater treatment and sanitation infrastructure functioning during load shedding cost the municipality 595,800 rands a day. In addition to this, load shedding cost the municipality as much as 350 million rand a day in lost revenue. Now, this illustrates a critical point for me, that the municipal funding model is broken. The financial model was based on the 98 white paper on local governments, and the model presumed that municipalities would be able to raise 90% of its own revenue based on property taxes and reselling, particularly energy, which for the last 20 years was critical to keeping local government functional and to allow cross-subsidization of services for particularly the poor. This model, as I said, is now broken. When a municipality can't resell electricity for 12 hours a day, it loses a third of its revenue and its budget becomes unfunded. So the old financial model no longer works, and it is causing a service delivery crisis across the country. It's broken because the national government has failed to ensure consistent energy supply and saddled us with load shedding. It's broken because the national government did not invest in sufficient bulk water infrastructure and climate change mitigation, leading to a water supply crisis across the country. Now, even if we were to correct this situation right now, which in the medium term, I'm afraid is not likely, high-value consumers and industrial customers have moved to alternative solutions, be it solar or at self-generation, which means that water and energy is no longer the municipal cash cow that it used to be, and municipalities only have middle and lower income consumers left. Again, the financial model is broken. Now, despite this, the Division of Revenue Bill will only increase allocations to municipalities by inflation. It'll grow from 96 billion rand in the current budget year to 103 billion rand next year to 109 billion rand the year after. As I said, only 5.9% per annum over the medium term. And national government spending, of course, will grow at a significant magnitude over that time from 1.3 trillion to 1.55 trillion rands over the 3-year period. Provinces where critical services like education and healthcare is administered and delivered will only grow 2.8% over the medium term. So what we're seeing in the Division of Revenue Bill is the effect of national government prioritizing its vanity and pet projects and bailouts and high level of debt over service delivery. It is unsustainable and is causing a crisis at local and regional provincial governments. Now, Section 214, subsection 1 of the Constitution does require that revenue is equitably divided between the 3 spheres of government. The intenders of this rule in the Constitution wanted to ensure that an all-powerful national government cannot starve local and provincial governments of the resources they need to fulfill their mandates. It is intended to prevent the exact situation that is, I'm afraid, unfolding before us. So unfortunately, national government is not providing equitable revenue anymore to provincial and local governments in light of the fact that the financial model is broken. And it is time, ahead of the next DORA bill, to do a comprehensive review of the funding model for local government or the decay that we
Honourable Member, your time is now expired.
Thank you, House Chair.
Honourable Paulson.
Sure, I had to lift this mic quite a bit. Of the thank you, House Chairperson. House Chairperson, allow me to begin by greeting the Economic Freedom Fighters President and Commander-in-Chief, Comrade President Julius Malema, officials of the EFF, members of the Central Command Team, fighters, and all South Africans. Let me also echo the sentiments of the Commander-in-Chief and wish fellow Muslims a Ramadan Kareem. May this auspicious month be characterized by Islam's core values of compassion, mutual respect, and humility. The President of the EFF held a press conference today and extended his gratitude to the South African Federation of Trade Unions, SAFTU, the African Transformation Movement, ATM, the PAC, the Land Party, and the African Radical Economic Transformation Alliance, ARITA, and the progressive forces who supported the national shutdown. No fear-mongering, no state-sponsored intimidation, and no amount of whiteness will stop our people from voicing their frustration. The people of Langa, Delft, Khayelitsha, Gugulethu, Mitchells Plain, Cape Flats, here in Cape Town, and everywhere came in their numbers to demand electricity, to demand jobs, to demand an end to gender-based violence and crime, and to demand food security. We salute them. The colored working class people have sent a strong message to the ANC and the DA that they are not voting fodder who should be treated with disdain and isolation. They are sending this message, and eventually more and more will realize that they too stand to benefit from economic emancipation. House Chairperson, the Economic Freedom Fighters rejects the austerity division of revenue bill of the illegitimate government under the incapable leadership of Cyril Ramaphosa. The division of revenue bill is legislation that is proposed to the National Assembly
Honourable
by the
Paulson,
Minister of
Honourable
Finance.
Paulson, will you just take a seat?
Yes, German.
Why you want to intervene, Honourable Member?
Honourable Chairperson, the member on the podium has referred to the President in the first name terms. It's against the
Yes.
Rule 82.
Honourable Paulson, we refer to each other, not on first name terms or surname only. We refer to each other in respectful terms. Will you do so?
I said Cyril Ramaphosa.
No, Honourable Member.
Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa, House Chairperson.
Please continue.
Last week, on the 16th of March, the National Assembly held mini plenaries. And in one of the mini plenaries, we debated the current fiscal framework, municipalities and constitutional mandate. We know that the people will always be against radical and bold steps towards new ideas, especially when those ideas are based on better logic. But we are glad that the tide has started to turn on this issue. From the debate, we agree that the current fiscal framework, in particular the division of revenue and the equitable share formula, is not working. We agree that the municipalities cannot collect meaningful revenue if we have 11 million people unemployed and 18 million dependents on social grants. We agree that municipalities cannot deliver water, electricity, sanitation, and roads with the current budgets. We also agree that the current division of revenue bill perpetuates unsustainable migration towards metropolitan areas in search of jobs and better livelihoods. If we want to change current dysfunctional spatial planning and depopulate the cities of Johannesburg, Durban, Cape Town, and other highly populated cities, we must start with the fiscal framework and the division of revenue. What is to be done? Let's agree on new assumptions to develop a new approach to the division of revenue bill. Let's allocate the majority of resources to the municipality as they are responsible for the delivery of services. Let's appreciate that municipalities are not private companies selling goods and services to our people. Municipalities are not there to make profits. The current backlog, for example, in the Western Cape is 35,000 houses to house the people, the homeless people in Cape Town, and more than 24,000 outside of the metro. We would require an excess of 100 billion to clear the backlog, but we need to adopt the EFF's approach to housing and infrastructure delivery, because just like this ANC government, the DA in the Western Cape outsources these projects to their friends and funders. We could eradicate poverty while addressing the housing shortage if we develop the state's capacity to insource housing and infrastructure development. Lastly, all municipalities must build internal capacity, drive local industrialization, and prioritize infrastructure development. And this is dependent on a progressive division of the revenue bill that is not driven by austerity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Member. The next speaker is the Honorable Nkosi Buthelezi.
Thank you, Sihlalo wendlu ohloniphekileyo. Ngibingelele nakusihlalo wekomiti Mvulane namalungu onke endlu ahloniphekileyo. Thina njengenkathi sihlala okuningi engahle siphawule kulo mbiko namhlanje okwehlukile esabeleni imali bathi sisidingida kanye nesimo sezwe seyimali kanye nohlobo lwabo mali. Ukuhlinzeka ngeimali kwenkakasizinda kube yisenzo esiphusileyo ohlangothini kahulumeni kanye nokuqaphelisisa isimo senhlekelele inqalasizinda yethu ebhekene naso nesidingo sokwakhiwa kabusha kwenkakasizinda. Isifiso sethu njengeqembu lenkathi sisodwa esithi sengathi zonke imali lezi ezabuwayo emningini ahlukeneyo ingafinyelela kubantu iphinde futhi ifeze lokho eyihlinzeka ukuba zikufeze. Sengathi singesakubona lokhu esidwala ukubona uhulumeni ne-ANC sidume ngakho ukwebiwa kwezimali kanye nokukhwabanisa. Ngendlela efanayo siyathokoza kakhulu sihlalo ukubona umnyango wezemfundo unikwa imadlana ethe xaxa kakhulukazi enhlelweni zokukhuliswa kwezingane zethu kanye futhi nokuphela kwazo ezikoleni. Kodwa ke sihlalo kofanele ukuba yonke inqalasizinda yezemfundo ibhekisiswe ngoba iyona eqinisekisa izinga lemfundo esilindele njengezakhamuzi. Siyazi ukuthi izwe lethu alimile kahle kwezomnotho nokuthi ngeke likwazi ukuqoqa inkece elingene nokuqhathanisa nezidingo zalo. Kodwa ngobadlana nje esinalo singenza likhulu uma kuphela izwe lethu liphethwe ngabaholi abaqotho nezisebenzi imisele ngokupheleleyo enkonzweni yesizwe. Lo mkhuba onengekayo nesithethe njengokwamkelekile ukuthi iminyango ibekile ilinganisa ihlule kuyifeza, iminyango ivusisa inkece, ibe nemibiko yezimali echithayo nengenamthelela omuhle. Kufanele ba yinto esikhathi sedlule sibhekane nakho silusane nakho ukuze yonke iminyango kahulumeni isebenze ngendlela efaneleyo. Inzwa ike isihlalo enkulu kunazo zonke udaba lomasipala abaphihlikayo nabahlulekayo ukufeza imisebenzi ngendlela efaneleyo. Sonke siyazi ukuthi omasipala banguhulumeni osekhaleni kubantu bakithi nabafinyelela ukuqala nxa beneyinkinga. Thina ke njengeqembu lenkathi siyakholwa ukuthi isikhathi sesifikile soba sibhekane ngqo neyinkinga zomasipala, kulungiswe uzinzo kwezepolitiki omasipala, phinde futhi kuqinisekiswe ukuthi bonke omasipala bethu banamakhono afaneleyo. Ngoba ubuka iminyaka ohulumeni basekhaya banayo, kufanele ngabe leminyaka isichaza ulwazi olunzulu eyisebenzini zikahulumeni. Lesi simo ke sihlalo sikhombisa ngokusobala ukuthi ingqikithi yenkinga yethu ayiphathelene nje nabomasipala nayo yonke iminyango, kodwa kakhulu ibheke ngqo eqenjini elibusayo okuyilona ngathi lehluleka ukuphatha. Sengiphetha ke isihlalo hloniphekileyo, ngifuna ukusho ukuthi iqembu elibusayo lona liyinhlekelele ezweni lethu, hayi zonke inkinga esithi sibhekene nazo. Yinye kuphela into okufanele basiyenze. Ngiyavumelana kahle kakhulu nosihlalo wekomiti maye bethi ebingelela kwiphini leqembu elibusayo, aphinde futhi abe liphini likamongameli wezwe. Wayesethi iyona nyathuko ke le okufanele bekhanjwe ngayo. Ngiyavuma sheke ukuthi iyona nyathuko, kodwa esibhekise enhlekeleleni yoqobo. Sesibonile ukuthi iqembu salethemba lehlulekile, iqembu salethemba alisithandi. Yingakho nje ngisho imali ebhekele ukusiza ey'ndaweni zenhlekelele beyisuse komasipala, ngoba abanendaba baphila kude nezimo zongoqobo abantu abaphila ngaphansi kwazo. Sithi-ke bonke abantu baleli lizwe abazi ukuthi isikhathi esifikile ukuba iqembu elibusayo injobo ilingane umtsintsila. Siyayeseka lo mbiko.
Order, honorable members. Order. The honorable vessels. Order, honorable members. Order. Order, honorable members. Please continue, honorable vessels.
Thank you, Honorable House Chair. House Chairperson, the Honorable Buthelezi, the Chairperson of the committee, mentions Jan van Riebeeck as one of the villains that is the creator and the cause of the suffering and problems facing South Africa. Now, one must be honest when we talk about the crises facing ordinary South Africans. Let's look at the division of revenue. And the Honorable Buthelezi is correct. It's very important because it's the livelihoods of a lot of people out there. The division of revenue provides for equitable share to municipalities to provide free electricity to 10 million poor households. But does the Honorable Buthelezi know how many households actually receive free electricity? Only 2 million. Is that the fault of Jan van Riebeeck? Or is it municipalities? No, it's municipalities spending the equitable share on their own stomachs. It's ANC cadres deployed in those municipalities, wasting equitable share that should go to the poor
Jan van
and the
Riebeeck's
vulnerable.
fault.
That.
Order, honorable members. Honorable April, on the virtual platform, you were not recognized and you switched on your microphone and you participated in proceedings. May I caution you that if it happens again, I will ask for you to be removed from the platform. Please continue, honorable vessels.
Thank you, Honorable House Chair. Ek dink nie die agbare April herken homself meeste van die tyd. Minder as 32% van voorwaardelike toekennings wat uit hierdie verdeling van billike aandeel aan munisipaliteite betaal word, is maar bestee teen die einde van Desember 2022. Dit moes toe al helfte gewees het. Met ander woorde, daar gaan 'n onderbesteding wees op voorwaardelike toekennings. Slegs 28% van kapitaalbegrotings van munisipaliteite is teen 31 Desember 2022 bestee. Met ander woorde, 'n groot onderbesteding. Daardie kapitaalbegrotings moet gebruik word om infrastruktuur reg te maak. Daardie voorwaardelike toekennings moet gebruik word om dit wat die agbare Buthelezi na verwys te doen. Maar dis onderbesteding aan die een kant en aan die ander kant word die geld gesteel. Because it's most probably also Jan van Riebeek's fault that there's construction mafias that operate in our municipalities, and that is actually the reason for the fact that we are on the verge of a total collapse of infrastructure in South Africa. From our train systems, our public railway, to our roads, to our water treatment plants, of which only 36% are functioning. 36%. Only 36% of water treatment plants in South Africa are functioning. But that's Jan van Riebeek's fault. 1652, 2023. You need to wake up and smell the coffee. The ANC has completely lost the plot because they live in the past and they don't see the suffering of the people. They allow their cadres to steal money and line their pockets for construction mafias to exploit municipalities. Hard-earned tax money that is distributed to municipalities and government departments are stolen and misappropriated, misused, over expenditure, and really no quality are rendered to the people out there. That is why we cannot support this division of revenue. This parliament should actually do what it's supposed to do and make the division of revenue better. But the committee of the Honorable Buthelezi failed.
Honorable member, your time has now expired. And the Honorable Mashego, please switch off your microphone. It's a bit late now. I think you can discuss outside of the chamber. No, we are moving on with the debate. You should have taken a point of order at the time when it happened, Chief Whip. The ATM.
Sorry, Chair. ACDP.
Oh, my apologies. My apologies. The ACDP.
Thank you, House Chair. House Chair, the ACDP has studied the report and shares concerns about the below inflation average increase of only 2.8% over the MTEF in respect of provincial share of the national raised revenue. Now, provinces, as we know, do not have significant taxation powers, and transfers through this division of revenue account for about 97% of the provincial revenues. Free or low-cost social services are provided by provinces, including public basic education and healthcare, and this is placed at risk with this lower than inflation increase. Chairperson, Treasury's 2021 State of the Local Government Finances report that 169 out of 257 municipalities at the end of the financial year were in financial distress. That is the 2022 report, and the ACDP finds it alarming that this report notes a continued pattern of deterioration, as only 66 of the 257 municipalities were in financial distress in 2010, a significant deterioration. Many municipalities failed to adopt funded budgets, resulting in them not being financially sustainable. And we appreciate that the Deputy President said this is a grave crisis. So what is being done to alleviate this crisis? The situation has resulted in a collapse of services, as other members have referred to. Potholes are rarely fixed, water and electricity cuts are regular. Municipal salaries in certain cases are also not being paid. And ratepayers can rightfully feel they are not getting value for their money. Service delivery protests are rife, often accompanied by violence and destruction of much needed infrastructure. This perhaps explains why increasing number of households are not paying municipal bills. As hard-pressed households and businesses fail to pay municipal accounts, revenue declines, and municipalities in turn owe water boards and electricity and Eskom billions. Eskom is owed a staggering 56 billion rand debt, as we referred to earlier by the Deputy President. Now, the Deputy President indicated that there'll be more turnaround strategies. These in the past have showed little or no improvement in the municipal financial situation, and clearly the municipal funding model requires an urgent review. Lastly, we share the concerns about the emergency housing grants for provinces and municipalities, which has now been shifted to the National Department of Human Settlements, and we support the report in this regard that Parliament must report on the rationale for this shift. And in view of the distressed state of municipalities, regrettably, the ACDP will not support this bill. I thank you.
Thank you. The ATM, good.
House Chair.
The NFP,
House Chair.
good. Please continue, honorable member.
Thank you,
Honorable
House Chair. Thank you. Good will support this bill, House Chair, but the largest crisis facing our nation is the continued economic environment that perpetuates poverty and unemployment. And unfortunately, we failed to tackle the right to social security appropriately. The stats being used in relation to poverty are outdated, and we're currently living in a post-lockdown South Africa that is trying to recover. With thousands of jobs being lost, life for those who live below the poverty line has worsened, and our country urgently needs new data as well as a new approach. We will continue to call for the transformation.
May I ask the IT to disconnect that member who has intruded onto the system now. Honorable Aaron.
Can I continue?
Yes, please.
Thank you. We will continue to call for the transformation or transforming of the SRD COVID relief grant into a basic income grant and to increase it to at least meet the food poverty line of 663 Rand per month. A basic income grant will provide some dignity to our citizens with a relatively small income to meet their most basic human needs. Our senior citizens who spent a lifetime contributing to the building of this country and contributing to our fiscus through income tax, VAT, and other levies are at serious risk of falling below the upper bound poverty line as the cost of living rapidly rises. No citizen that has played a part in building our country should have to worry if they can even exist in it. For these reasons, Good also calls for an urgent reevaluation of the pension framework and that we start to restructure our budgets so that we can raise the old age pension to a dignified level that at least buffers our senior citizens from a precarious life. Finally, House Chair, the solar energy initiatives linked to tax rebates and incentives are not nearly incentivizing enough, nor inclusive as the options provided are not really accessible to any mid or low income South African. While Good has always advocated for incentives and financing to invest in renewables, the measures raise the question of renewables for who? These incentives are a bonus for the rich, but do not address the energy crisis in our country. And this is a conceptual failure for utilizing the private sector or homeowners to alleviate load shedding. With a poverty pandemic and a load shedding crisis, we would have liked the budget to be more directly responsive to these existential crises. Thank you.
Thank you, honorable member. Honorable Sheikh Imam.
Thank you, House Chairperson. I'm glad that the Chief Whip is in the house.
Honorable Sheikh Imam, will you just take your seat, please? Honorable member, why do you want to be recognized?
Chair, can I kindly request that members who are on the virtual platform, the IT can make them to be audible because I could hardly hear the honorable member.
We'll pay attention to that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Honorable Sheikh Imam, please continue.
Thank you, House Chairperson. I'm glad that the Chief Whip is here in the house. But I would urge the Chief Whip to ensure that there's paramedics on site because Honorable Hadebe has been beating his hands so much, supporting and clapping for the Deputy President. It might damage his hands. I'm a bit worried about that. But Chairperson, I just want to respond to particularly the Freedom Front. When you tell members of parliament and the country something, please put some truth into it. Let me just take you out of your misery. The debt to GDP in 1994 was almost 46%. So what does it tell you? You virtually handed over a bankrupt state. That is what you did in 1994. You messed up this country so bad. You violated the human rights of so many other people in this country just for a handful to benefit from it. And now it takes 29 years. We are still having great difficulty in being able to address all the atrocities that was committed pre-1994. So I hope you would take that into consideration. But Chairperson, what I notice is a lot of emphasis on how much of money we are allocating to this department and that department for this program and that project. What we don't hear is, what are we getting in return for what we are, the money that we are allocating? And I think my chairperson of Standing Committee on Appropriation, and I think the former chairperson of Standing Committee on Appropriations will remember that we're always raising the issue of value for money. And I think that's where the emphasis must be. We are facing financial constraints. The world is facing financial constraints. What we need to emphasize on is to ensure that we get more for less. And that's what I think we need to do. But very importantly, I want to suggest today, particularly to the Minister of Finance and National Treasury, I think the time has come where all police officers in the country and all healthcare workers, we have forgotten the role they played during COVID, how many of them have died. And I think that we should consider all police officers and healthcare workers in South Africa to be exempt from paying tax. I think that's the least we can actually do for those that serve us and serve us so well. That's the one point that I wanted to make. On the issue of local government, I want to go back there again. The levels of corruption must be dealt with. If you don't deal with that, you're never going to get the delivery of services. My time has run out. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honourable
support this.
Member.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Honourable Matafa.
Deputy President Mashatile, Chief Whip Majodina, Ma-Afrika Borwa, Maloko Parliament Dumelang. To our Muslim brothers and sisters, Ramadan Mubarak, Insla Allah. Ke thoma ka gore lekoko la ANC le dumelana le report le mo pele ga rona. House Chair, today's debate takes place on a significant day in history, South African Liberation Day. And this day in 1988, gallant heroes of the ANC-MK, the Soviet Union, Angola, and Cuba decisively defeated the South African apartheid government forces, backed by the USA and many countries from the rest of the world. The victory by progressive forces at Cuito Valley led to quick and successful negotiations for Namibia's independence in 1990 and the end of South Africa's apartheid administration in 1994, allowing the region to progress towards regional development and integration. Honorable Sheikh, these are some of the unnecessary decisions and battles by the National Party that bankrupted the state in 1990s. House Chair, provincial allocations are very important for the prosperity of the citizenry of the Republic. Provinces are responsible for providing social services like basic education for 13.4 million learners and healthcare for 50.8 million South Africans without private medical insurance. As such, as the ANC, we welcome the increase in the provincial allocations from 695.1 billion in 2022-23 to 720.5 billion in 24-25, growing at an annual average of 2.8% to 754.7 billion in 25-26. Over the 2023 MTEF, a total of 1.8 trillion is allocated through the provincial equitable share, and the total of 400.9 billion allocated through conditional grants. The above allocations prove the narrative that this is an austerity budget false. Rele committee re thabela kokeletso ya tšhelete ye. Fela re na le kgopelo ye e lebantšhitšweng go provincial treasuries. Re kgopela gore tšhelete yeo e berekiswe ka maikarabelo go merero yeo e beetswe go yona. Ke tlaleletsa Chairperson Buthelezi ka gore re kgopela tšhelete e se ke ya busetswa morago go National Treasury ka mabaka a o skwagaleng. Re kgopela le gore go se ke gwa nna le bobodu ka ge seo se ra gore badudi ba rona ba tlo fetwa ke ditshebeletso tseo di ba lebaneng. Di-invoice le tsona di patelwe within 30 days of invoice. Taba ya go se patele borakgwebo potlana gantši e bolaya dikgwebo potlana ya be ya tliša tlala malapeng. Go tša thuto re na le tshepo ya gore kgopelo ya rona e tla fetoga nnete Ka ge re bona mo premier wa Gauteng, Ntate Panyaza Lesufi, ka nako ya pulo lekgotla la province ya Gauteng, o itse ge a amogela tekanyetso ya go lekana le 1.5 billion for education infrastructure grant for Gauteng school program. A re o tlo thusha ka mananeo a go mpšhafatša dikolo gore barutwana ba kgone go ba le dikolo tšeo e le gore di bolokegile. Ka go tlosa dikolo tsa nakwana le tsa asbestos. Go kgonagatša merero ya go aga dikolo tše maleba tse 18, a be a boa a tshepisa go aga dikolo tše 14 tšeo di bitswago specialty schools go tshwana le Soshanguve Engineering School of Specialization with focus on automatives. Dikolo tše ke tšona tše di fanang ka thuto ya maemo a godimo e tla thušang barutwana ka bokgoni le maitemogelo a tla kgonang go tokafatša maemo a ikonomi ya Afrika Borwa. Lenaneo kgoparara leo le tlo humanang tekanyelo ya 495 million ka ngwaga wa 23-24, 503 million ka ngwaga wa 24-25 le 498 million in 25-26. Le tlo thuša gore go se hlogwe ba le pitlanego dikolong tša Gauteng e bakwang ke batho ge ba tšwa dinaga magaeng ba tlametseng setoropo ya Gauteng. Honorable Paul said that is where the DORA is responding to urban migration. U engedzea ha zwikolo, tshavhelo tsha zwikolo zwi ḓo ṱoḓa vhadededzi vho ḓikumedzelaho na u ḓiimisela. 20 billion yo avhelwa u lambedza vhadededzi miṅwaha miraru i ḓaho. Hu ḓo dovha ha engedzwa 1.5 billion ya thandela ya u ṋea vhana zwiḽiwa zwikoloni vhane vha eḓana 9 million. Dzangano la DA na EFF vo vouta vha tshi hanedza mivhigo uyu. Hu khou vouta vha tshi hanedzana na muvhuso kha fhungo ḽa u ṋea vhana zwiḽiwa vha 9 million vhane vhunzhi havho zwa ḓivhea uri vha ḓitika nga zwiḽiwa zwi wanalo muvhusoni. Ngauralo ndi ngani vhone vha tshi nga nanga dzangano ḽine ḽa hanedzana na u ṋea vhana zwiḽiwa zwikoloni nga 2024.
Honorable member, can you just take a seat, please? The interpretation services is not consistent. The interpreters get onto the system and then they just keep quiet for a while the debate is continuing. We cannot conduct a debate in that manner. I've asked the table staff earlier to alert them that they are not audible for lengthy periods of the debate, and that must be attended to immediately. Otherwise, we won't be able to proceed. Honorable members, I just beg your indulgence. Let's not trade exchanges with one another because the sitting is still on. Proceedings hasn't been suspended. My apologies to the member at the podium.
I'll say it in English, Mangbu.
Honorable members, order. No, these exchanges are unacceptable while we're still in session. I'm going to suspend proceedings now for a few minutes, and the bells will be rung for a short while so that we can afford the member the opportunity to continue. Proceedings is suspended.
Recording stopped.